Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Welcome to Cody's radio voice. 7:30 in the morning. It's sunny weather and good traffic.
My radio. You sound like a lunatic.
Can you give me your best radio voice, please and thank you?
I don't think I'm physically capable of doing that.
I feel like if you did, my bones would actually break.
It's honestly amazing for someone who's done, like, multiple podcasts. The fact that, like, my voice is not a podcast. My voice is not a good audio voice. Like,
neither of us have good audio voices. Let's be honest.
They're not great to listen to.
The fact that people have been listening to this from the beginning is honestly embarrassing for all parties.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Into the
But hey, welcome to our fucking anti-ASMR.
Yes.
Where we just screech into your fucking earbuds.
And some of you, I think kind of get off on that.
Ooh,
I think some of you do. And let's be honest with ourselves and our truth, you know?
Yeah, let's not kink shame here, alright?
Yeah. I think, let's be honest with ourselves about that. How the fuck are you doing today, Cody?
I'm great.
Oh. Wow.
I've been watching a lot of sex education on Netflix.
Yes.
Which is extremely good. Gillian Anderson's my mom. Gillian Anderson? I'm actually not sure. Anyway, she's my mom, and I love her.
Yes.
And it's great. And I love seeing horny, nerdy teens on a television show. It's great.
So good.
Love it.
I've only watched the first episode so far, and if you ever want to know my teaching style and how I relate to the youth, TM.
Yeah.
It is when the bully motherfuck goes over to the attempts to masturbate into a Kleenex motherfuck's house.
Yeah.
And she is, like, trying to relate to him about the weed. And she's like, oh, yeah, it leads to not being able to...
It was, like, not to finish.
Yeah,
like,
that's
not
what it was.
Being able to ejaculate. Yeah.
She's, like, leaning against the railing, and it's, like, a beautiful, gorgeous scenery. And she's like, yeah, so weed, super cool, right? Let's talk about it. Also, did you know that if you do it for too much, like, you're not going to be able to ejaculate? And he's, like, he goes from being, like, yeah, dope, and he's, like, making all the, like, gang signs and stuff. And he's like, wait, hold on, what?
There's a character in that show. I'm not sure if you've gotten to her yet. But she's, like, the one English teacher or whatever. And she cares so much about this one student who does not do anything.
Oh my god, they have her in the first episode, too.
Okay, yeah. But she believes in her so hard. Every single scene, she's just like, I really want to see what you do in this one. And she's just, like, not giving a fuck. But she's like, I want you to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's so pure.
Yeah, it's a mood, that's for sure. Like, today... I told one of my kids...
Segue.
I told my kid, like, hey, I really appreciate you and your safety. Can you please stop smacking your head against my desk? Like, that's just a peek into the middle school psyche, if you were curious.
God, what a bunch of weirdos.
Like, please don't give yourself a concussion in my classroom. And he was like, the fucking thing is he was genuinely engaged in my class. Like, he just couldn't stop smacking his head. I hate middle school. I mean, I love them. They're my favorite.
I love the fact that it's not... He's not banging his head on his desk. He's banging his desk on his head on your desk.
Oh.
He's engaged. He's listening. And he's just like, fuck everything. Fuck your whole shit. Right
no, I mean, it was his desk. But I was just like, he was just like engaged in the conversation. Like, he wasn't distracting himself and like bored. But he just couldn't, like, every 20 minutes I would look over and I was like, please stop smacking your head against his desk. Like, you're gonna start bleeding. Jeremy.
I will take you to the nurse's office, and I will not be cool about it.
I will rat you out. Please stop. Oh, God. This is a little bit early for our middle school corner, but I do have to segue off of that and let you know. Actually, before I do that, Cody, can you please tell me the most embarrassing thing that happened to you in PE in your adolescence, please? And thank you.
Oh, God. I got hit in the head with a basketball once.
Now tell me. Whoop. Tell me everything. Because whoop, there it is.
I think that was everything. But I think we might have talked about this in this podcast, but I was on my middle school co-ed basketball team. And I know what you're thinking. I do not sound like the person who can dunk.
I don't know. You are pretty powerful.
I just don't sound like I have the physical ability to even qualify to be on a basketball team. And I was very much on there for like, hey, you can be here if you want. You seem like you really want to be here. And then I quit halfway through to be in the musical. So here's my personality.
You didn't just balance them High School Musical style?
I couldn't. They wouldn't let me. I wanted to Troy Bolton it, but they wouldn't let me.
That's bullshit.
I know. I was so close to dreaming my high school dreams, my middle school dreams.
I'm so sorry. Do you want to talk about it a little bit more?
No, I think that's it. I think that's all there was.
All right.
To that story.
All right. For me, there were so many, but there are two that stand out. The first one I think was in first or second grade, and it really illustrated my personal experience in life. And it was on those fucking scooters that you'd roll around the gym on, like Flintstone style, where you'd put your hands on the one, you'd like sit on your butt, and they were like blue plastic, and you just like Flintstone around the room. What is that? Why was that PE? What was that?
I don't know.
And you would inevitably get your like fingers underneath the wheels. I did that once, and I was like, oh no, life's done. Like that's I'm out. And then the second one was in 5th grade when, and I don't know if y'all did this, but we square danced.
What?
What? So we here in the Pacific Northwest have a square dancing unit in PE.
A unit? A whole unit?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. That's a thing that we do.
That's beautiful. Oh my God.
And it's unfortunately, and like it's a thing that we did in 5th grade when I was in Oregon growing up. And then now my middle schoolers are doing it in 7th grade here in Washington. And it's, as you can believe, the most embarrassing thing for anyone to do in PE.
Yeah. Yes.
And unfortunately, like, it's the worst for so many reasons, not only because middle schoolers, like, hate touching each other in, like, a very formal kind of dancing way.
Sure. Yes.
But also because of the fact that it was added into PE because of racism.
Yikes.
I eventually would find out later in college that it was added in because of the fact that the people, I don't know, I couldn't remember the people who created PE, but they, like, obviously hated jazz. And so instead they were like, yeah, square dancing. Seems good. Wow. And so that is how it got, like, added to PE as, like, a traditional dance form.
That's bananas.
Yeah. And so it still exists now. I thought it stopped, but it did not.
While you were saying that, I remembered another embarrassing thing from PE.
Please.
If I may.
I wish you would.
So, in the, like, locker room or whatever, there was a bathroom and then, like, the changing rooms. And then inside the bathroom, they had, like, tampon dispensers and pads and stuff that were, like, 25 cents or whatever. But
we love a
there
tampon
was, like...
tax.
Right, am I right, ladies? Am I right, menstruators? But there was, like, a point in time where someone found out that you could just kind of, like, if you wiggled it enough, you could, like, open the latch and just, like, take as many tampons as you want
Fuck
without
yeah.
having to pay, which was fucking great. And I was like, all right, I've heard this is an urban legend. I want to see if it's true. And I go in and do it, and it works. And I'm like taking it out. And while that happens, I hear a flush, and someone comes out of the bathroom, and it is my gym teacher.
Hell yeah. What?
And she sees me with like a handful of tampons, and she's like, and then she walks out, and then they like fixed it, and I became like,
No!
I ruined it.
You were the
I
narc!
ruined it. I was the fucking narc unintentionally.
Cody.
I know. Ugh.
That's just how many tampons you need when you menstruate. You need like 6.
Right.
Sometimes it comes out of your nose.
Listen, I was an anti-capitalist icon from the start.
Viva la revolucion, you know?
Right. Just.
Oh my god. Speaking of that, since we're all just non sequiturs tonight,
yeah.
I think I don't remember if I told you this last week, but the last few minutes of every class, I've been showing my kids the the 90s cartoons that we grew up with. Did I tell you that last week?
Yes,
okay.
you did. Yes.
So I've been adding in some more. This week I did PB&J Otters, which the kids were like, what? And which one did I do? I did Little Bear this week, and they didn't know what that was as well. We all bonded on Clifford the Big Red Dog, where they were still like, how was he red? Which we all don't understand, and they asked too many questions that I was incapable of answering.
Miss Johnson, why is the dog so big?
Yeah. I was just like, furries are a thing, But I just think that is honestly, it's been sparking a lot of joy for me, because sometimes you just need to relive nostalgia in like 2-minute segments, which I think is fair.
I get it.
You know what didn't spark joy for me though today?
What, Marie Kondo?
So you don't experience this, but
Sure.
I don't have Spotify Premium because I'm not a rich bitch.
Oh my god.
Contrary to what the world thinks of me. That's just a private whatever. That's nothing. So all of a sudden today, because I'm safety first, I keep my phone down while I'm driving because I don't want people to die. So I put my phone on shuffle today on Spotify and was going about my business when all of a sudden I hear this voice, and Cody, I'm going to be honest, I got a little scared because the voice completely did not match what was being said. So the voice was soft and the voice was pure. And now, please, I will say that I was putting it on shuffle for Panic at the Disco, and the voice that came up was not Brendan Urie. But it was a song. And the song, Cody, was someone singing, "Somebody's Got a Stinky Booty." In the most angelic and soft voice. And I honest to God, looked around my car while on the freeway like, excuse me. Yeah. Did you hear this? Like, what was this? And
is this real?
Yeah, and it was the most soft voice. It was like cooing. And it went on for about 30 seconds. And then all of a sudden I realized, it's like, hold on a goddamn minute. Is that John Legend? Is that John Legend singing about dirty-ass diapers? And it was. He was singing about Pampers diapers and stinky booties.
Oh my god.
And I had to listen to what was supposed to be an advertisement. And I don't feel safe, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Cody, honest to God, it was like, you have to, like, when you are not on this podcast, just, like, Google John Legend, stinky booty, or, like, diaper commercial, and he's just probably, like, singing to his baby child, and it's honestly a little spoopy, is all I'm saying.
as much as I'd love to hear that beautiful rendition of this thing that you brought onto this podcast, I don't want that in my search history ever.
Oh.
Ever.
Okay, well.
And I'm not willing to chance it.
Well, what about some Twilight news? How about that in your search history?
Yeah, I mean, we're already here. Let's go for it.
The first thing that we have this week has been kind of even on my timeline that isn't our Into the Twilight one. Mm-hmm. And I felt like it was worth discussing this week. And it's more news about the Netflix show You.
Yes.
And I don't know how it ended up, but Millie Bobby Brown is currently in the mix about the show.
Yeah.
And people, from what I saw on my timeline until I looked up this article, was that people were trashing Millie for liking this show.
Yes.
And so I looked it up a little bit more. And I don't know. I guess I'm just a little side-eyeing, I guess, the people that are angry at her is what I would like to say.
I first saw this, I saw the video first before I saw people, shitting on it.
Okay.
And the video definitely, rubbed me the wrong way, because basically the video is her, an Instagram story of her talking about the show You and how the relationship between the supposed stalker dude and the woman is romantic and he's in love with her, and so it's not creepy and all these things, which is a problematic depiction of love and romance, especially if you're a young woman. But also, this is how most media have depicted relationships between people forever, and it's how a lot of young people and young women specifically have internalized as love and as romance. Right. That creepy behavior, like Twilight and 50 Shades and all these different things, is romance and is not creepy because the intentions are love and the intentions are, an adoration of someone, right? But also, Millie Bobby Brown is 14 years old.
Exactly.
Right? And it became a big thing because, she's a very popular figure and she has a lot of following and all that stuff. But also, she is a kid and she is, consuming this media the same way we did when we were 14. When we internalized unhealthy depictions of romance and thought they were love, right? And, the same thing's happening with Elsie Fisher when she tweets and, something, it's just, the policing of young women for, being, having opinions that aren't fully formed yet with context and things that now we all understand as maybe not great and problematic.
Right. It just makes me sad when you clock a 14-year-old, someone who I'm teaching right now, and I think the thing that bothers me is, and I'm coming from this from an education standpoint, I am literally teaching this age range. And so from a developmental standpoint, you're not going to get an effective reaction from any age range, but especially this age range. If you come at them and you clock them and you're like, what are you doing? This is awful. You're canceled. That's nothing. That does nothing.
Yeah. No.
If someone had said this to me when I was 14, when I was literally reading Twilight for the first time, and someone had thrown my Twilight book into the trash and was like, don't ever read this is awful. When I had built an emotional connection to these characters, I would view that person as someone I can't trust. Not the characters in the book, which is what that person is trying to do. And so,
and you automatically make the person who is consuming that feel like they are dumb and that they don't have the capacity to acknowledge something that is bad in the way that you see it as bad, right? When they it is purely in an emotional connection to something, and it's not it's just it's not the right framework that's happening, and it's not productive to just be can't you see this is obviously bad? We have to be civil about it, right?
Exactly. And one of the things that I try to work with my students on when they're consuming media is she is having an opinion about this. So celebrate her for having an opinion. She's trying to critically think about this. So fantastic. Sure. You're doing it and you're having an emotional reaction, which is what we do now and what we especially did then at that age range too. So
and so naturally.
Absolutely.
Like,
you do it instinctually really without thinking. Especially when this kind of dynamic in you is what is fed, especially that to that age range, but has been fed to women in general too. Like this is what a heterosexual relationship looks like. This is what we've been in this whole podcast like analyzing, right? And so trying to help not just Millie, right, but helping to understand with these, like, you've got it, you are in this first step of analyzing this. Now thinking about what is making you feel this way and how do you see this in real life? And if someone actually did that to you, how would it make you actually feel? And if you can recontextualize it in that way, that's where a conversation starts instead of just automatically shutting someone down. Because you're not going to get anywhere at 14. They have squishy brains. Like, that's nothing. So, it makes me sad because that's the age range that I teach. And it's like, that is the age range where I fell in love with some of these things that are highly problematic. And so, I think encourage people to consume media for a critical lens and help them build it.
Yeah.
But also help them understand that, like, one piece of media is not going to be representative of everything. Yeah. And just allow them to grow.
Come on.
The internet, so let them do that as well. Okay, that was a long rant, but I think that it's important nonetheless. On a little bit of a lighter note, can you please tell me about this Astro Dad business, please?
Our boy, Robbie. He's back, baby.
Robbie!
Back on that movie press tour. Back. Let's go.
Robbie!
Because Robbie. Our boy.
Yes.
So the trailer for High Life just dropped. And it's great.
And goddamn, you know?
It's the, like, space apocalyptic great movie that took TIFF by storm last year. And directed by Claire Denis, who's, like, wow, an icon.
Truly.
And it's an A24 film, and it's got our boy Arpats in it as, like, a lonely space dad.
It's a mood, you know?
And it's great, and I'm so excited, because I'm excited to follow this boy's career over something I'm excited to actually watch, rather than something I'm begrudgingly, like, consuming.
Now, I must tell you a story about my experience with this trailer. Yeah. I wake up at a gross early time in the morning, and I work out in the living room getting my lesson plans and stuff. Like, I work better in the mornings, unfortunately. Now, my boyfriend Chris has the pleasure of being able to sleep in a little bit. I go to work usually like an hour or so earlier than he does. And so this morning, right before I was about to leave, I hear this weird sound come from our bedroom. Like, I hear voices and these sounds, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, he's usually asleep at this time. And it lasts for like 2 to 3 minutes. I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden, like, the shower starts and everything is normal. So I go on his Twitter because I'm like, all right, he's probably watching something, and I look at this. And he retweets the High Life trailer. And I was like, oh my God. And so I was like, okay, all right. So by proxy, I watched it for the first time just by hearing it. And even that was fantastic.
Yeah.
But just so you know, the first experience that I got was great, and it was just like moody, wow. And it was very good. So I love it.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
It was so good. This last thing is like Screen Rant Corner. I feel like Screen Rant has like listened to our needs without fully acknowledging us.
Yeah.
And has given me what I desire. And I haven't looked at it yet, and I already know it's great.
Screen Rant does nothing but feed us.
That's true.
We're eating good tonight, y'all.
It is my lifeblood. So this week's Screen Rant Corner is brought to you by the author Dina Daw.
Thank you, Dina.
Thank you. And it is the Myers-Briggs personality types of Twilight characters.
Thank God.
Thank you so much. So, it's a list of 10. The first one being Edward Cullen, who is listed as an INFP, the thoughtful idealist.
I love it.
And if you look at the photo that they gave, can we just talk about how much of a green screen it is? Like, he looks like he's photoshopped on here.
He looks like a cardboard cutout.
He is always a cardboard cutout.
That's true. What is your Myers-Briggs, and are you any of these characters on this list?
I
Please and thank you.
need to look on here and see if I am, because if I... I am.
Okay.
Then, yes, I am on here. Are you on here?
I am not, but two of them are very close.
Okay. Tell me what you are, and tell me who is close.
Okay, so I'm an INTJ,
Okay.
also known as the architect. And I'm close to 7, Rosalie Hale, who's an ENTJ, the decisive strategist, and Charlie, who is an ISTJ, which I didn't even know S was a thing, but that's great.
Can we talk about this? So this screen cap they have of Charlie, I miss him so much.
I miss him every day.
Every day. I just think about him.
I miss that stupid mustache. Every day of my fucking life.
Can we just talk about the happy wolf in the background?
Yeah. That's me. Looking at my shining sun, Charlie Swan.
I am going to screen cap this really quickly and just post this on the Twitter. So on the Twitter, who the fuck am I? Just so you all can see this, because this is literally us looking at Charlie all the time. This is, so yeah, I don't think I know S at all.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
Rosalie's is just the extroverted version of yours.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so the decisive strategist, ooh.
Ooh.
That's fantastic. So mine is actually on here.
Ugh, wow.
And it is...
Is it Alice? Is it ENFJ?
Shut up. It is.
I read the fucking tagline as the compassionate facilitator. I'm like, oh, there it is. There she is. There's my girl.
Yes, it is. ENFJ is me. Hi. Hello. Hello. Yes, that is me. The fact that someone would call me bubbly feels wild. I don't know that I've considered myself bubbly since I was like a freshman in high school.
Are you serious? You're extremely bubbly.
It's just all the bubbles coming out of me.
You're suds. You're bursting at the seams with bubbles.
I'm just bursting in suds, you know? Just give me a Dawn commercial and suds me up.
Yeah.
This wig is killing me. It's not what my hair looks like. But yes, so ENFJ, the compassionate facilitator, this is so rude. This is reading me for Phil. They're known peacemakers. They have a tendency to step in when they shouldn't. Rude. They have a trouble putting themselves in other people's shoes. All things that are rude and disrespectful and great. Some of these that are great, like Edward, the thoughtful idealist, Bella being the versatile supporter, which I think is cute. Yeah. Jacob being the enthusiastic improviser.
Oh my gosh.
Like, Jasper being the logical pragmatist. God.
Carlisle and Esme have the same one. I love love.
Shut the fuck up.
They're both supportive contributors.
I love them so much.
I would die for them.
Carlisle looks so disappointed in that screen grab. I love them. And
this fucking, like, button shirt moment is very weird.
Yeah.
I'm seeing too much of his chest hair.
Yeah. I didn't know he had chest hair, I think, until this moment, and I hate it. Anyways, this is great, and I love it so much, and it makes me very happy. Thank you, Screen Rant. Thank you, God. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you, Jesus.
Thank you to everyone who made this possible. Thank you, Dina. Thank you for all of this. It's a great gift in a dark time in this world. Speaking of dark times.
Nice segue.
Do you want to read this awful chapter summary with me?
God. Yeah.
Hey, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know how I feel about these chapters?
How do you feel? I will agree with you.
Thank you.
However,
Yes.
I will say I had a lot of fun reading some of it.
Okay, chapter 21 was pretty good as far as
Yeah.
entertainment goes. Chapter 22
It's just like,
was a lot.
yeah, so here's the thing about these two chapters. It is, because we were kind of wondering, hey, when's that whole Jack Hyde thing coming into fruition? Wasn't that a plot point, like a major plot point of this entire saga?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's ever gonna come up ever again. Well, here we are, we're here. And that's what I was waiting for, like, a fun, I mean, it's not fun, but like a very heisty kind of like Oceans, like a Bella Oceans type thing, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we got that here. It was a little emotionally draining.
It was.
But it was the kind of stuff that I was, like, expecting most of this book to be.
Correct.
And it waited too long to get there. You know what I mean?
Yes. We do get some Ocean's 8 stuff, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it's in a very Anna way, which
Yes.
is nice. So,
Yeah.
where we left off last week was in a very dramatic place. Anna called Mrs. Robinson a bitch troll, which I don't think that we mentioned last week.
No, she's also said that, like, throughout the saga, and we've just kind of blown past it, but she says it a lot.
Yeah, she says it a lot in these next two chapters, so that's very important to know.
Yeah.
Christian went to go see the bitch troll. She went to go see Mrs. Robinson. She's not a troll.
No.
So, hey. Anyway, so that's where we leave off, is them waking up and kind of dealing with this aftermath.
Yeah.
No, we deal with, like, right afterwards. What am I talking about? Chapter 21. She's looking at the text, freaking out. He was out until 1:30. She doesn't know what to do. One of the things that we notice right away is she's crying, freaking out, and Anna immediately is like, I knew this would happen. How could you do this to me? And she's freaking out. Understandably so. She describes, because Christian's like gonzo. He's like snoring, which apparently he never does. He's out. She describes him as, she's like, through my tears, his prostate figure blurs and shimmers. And it's like, first of all, his what figure? His what? His what?
Sorry.
And also, he blurs and shimmers, so he's a what? Is he a...
Yeah.
He's a what, Anna?
Is he the shimmer in Annihilation? Like, what's happening?
Oh my god. That would be way more of an interesting twist.
Yeah.
And so she keeps kind of thinking, like, it's always 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and she's not sure what to do. She decides that the best thing to do is to look through his email, since she already has his phone open. Sure. The one that she finds is from Christian's IT guy. You know, you ever just have an IT guy?
Yeah, you know.
And in his attempt to make sure that this private email was kept very private, he made sure that the subject line was just Jack Hyde.
Very subtle.
Super subtle.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of detailed information about where they found stuff, CCTV stuff, all these kinds of things. Eventually, she tries to open the file. It's too big for a BlackBerry, because it's a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
And eventually decides that she doesn't want to go to sleep next to Christian and wants to go to the playroom instead. She locks the door, leaves the key on her side, knowing full well that when Christian wakes up in the morning and tries to find her, he won't look in here if the door's locked, I guess.
Sure.
And the last thing that she does before she falls asleep is she had, like, forwarded Mrs. Robinson's text or email, I guess, to Christian, to her phone. And so now she forwards it back to Christian, sending this, like, very petty email talking about, like, if you want to discuss this, let's go ahead and discuss it in front of Elena. That way you don't go ahead and run to her next time.
Yeah.
And then she's like, wipes her hands and falls asleep. Very good. Good job, Anna. You were very petty.
Nice.
When she wakes up, all hell's broken loose. She had turned her phone onto silent before she went to sleep. And, of course, the playroom doesn't have any windows or anything. And so she has no way of telling what time it is. When she wakes up, she's running late for work, as usual with her.
Yeah.
And she's missed several calls, both from Christian and from Kate. Of course, Christian's freaking out. And the whole crew is downstairs, like all of Christian's security detail. And when Anna finally comes downstairs, Christian is freaking out and trying to get answers from her. And this is when Anna's pissed off persona starts. And it's very petty, but it is very entertaining to read. I will say that.
Yes.
It is by no means exemplary communication between people that are married.
No.
But it's funny to read.
But here's the thing, right? This is one of the few moments in which Anna is kind of standing up for herself.
Yes.
And she's doing it in maybe not an effective way.
No.
When you're talking to the person you are married to. But she is just like, she's angry. And she doesn't really know how to process that. And she's just going like, all right, I'm mad at you. And I will just like let you know that I'm mad at you. And I don't want to talk about it. And I just want you to know that I'm mad at you. And Christian's not listening. He's just like, hey, so I'm mad too. We're both mad. Let's fuck? It's
Right.
like, no, stop. And then she's like, doesn't let him do shit. And she's just like, all right, I'm just going to get out of here. I need space. I'm going to go or whatever.
Right. Yeah, because
It's bad communication.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
And at first, it was bad communication and just passive aggressiveness.
Right.
And that's I mean, it's not fine. But it was, like, fine.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
it just turned straight petty. But the thing
Yes.
that Anna's doing is she's very much being like, well, I'm going to be petty and passive-aggressive, but I'm going to be sexy while I'm doing it.
Right.
Which makes it
She just, like,
hilarious.
puts on underwear and thigh-high boots and, like, blow-dries her hair. And she's like, no. I'm mad at you.
Yep.
Which is such a mood.
It is the biggest mood. Especially because, I mean, to be fair, Christian does have some valid questions during all this. Because she's talking, she's like, I don't want to talk to you, Christian. Like, the time for talking was yesterday. Go talk to this person that's abused you for years and stuff. And so he does ask, like, why were you snooping on me? And now the first time, the phone fell and lit up. So that part she wasn't guilty of. Now her opening the email and going through it,
That's, ma'am.
Yeah, that's just straight up. And also, like,
And it just
forwarding.
played off as, like, her being like, let's be bad. Let's just, I don't know. That's, my inner goddess is telling me to.
Exactly.
Why don't I just, whatever. It's like, ma'am, stop.
Yeah. He keeps asking her about, like, where she was, and she's just like, why do you care? While just, like, getting undressed and just standing in front of him, like, hands on her hips.
Yeah.
And he's just, like, his mouth is, like, on the floor. But the one thing that she keeps mentioning, though, is, like, she's pissed and she's upset because he took their private business to somebody else when he should have stayed and talked to her about it. And she's being very explicit. Not, like, cursing, but, like, being very clear about how she feels in a way that she isn't. When they're communicating, they're not always very clear about those kinds of things. And she goes on for quite a bit into this, where she's like, I choose this baby over you. That's what parents do. And, like, I'm sorry your mom didn't do that, but you're an adult now, and you need to, like, get it together. And, like, you can't have self-pity right now because we have a kid, and, like, I'm gonna go to work, and I'm gonna get my shit together, and also, I'm gonna be fucking living upstairs now. And he's like, what, but, because she's taking control now.
Yeah, and she's being like, hey, fuck you for assuming that I, like, tried to have this baby, like, to spite you or to, like, trap you or something.
Exactly.
You know? And like, saying all this shit is like, hey, like, this is not my fault, and I know you want to blame it on me and make this, like, a problem and make this my problem specifically, but I'm not gonna fucking do that with you, and that's, like, childish and silly, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah, because she mentions, too, like, that she felt like it was unfair, obviously, for him to blame the shot stuff on her. And he even goes, like, he says, I don't know, I can't find where it is right now, but he's like, if it's, not everyone can be as perfect as you, and, like, he's like, yeah, well, maybe you didn't get me stuck on being, like, having the kid on purpose, but you shouldn't have forgotten your shot, or something pedantic like that. And she's like, that's not, it doesn't matter now. She's like, we have a kid now, so, like, we need to focus on this. She eventually just leaves to go to work, and she's like, I need to, like, do business now. But as we know, with Anna, no business gets done at her work.
No.
Ever.
Never.
Kate calls, nothing happens, but Kate just calls.
She's like, hey, sup, you good? End of scene.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually, she eats, and she's like, oh my god, I didn't realize, but, like, when you eat, you feel better.
Yeah.
Pro tip. And of course, like, it was a bagel and lox, which, like...
Right, she's like, bagels are tight, actually. This shit's good.
Yeah.
I should eat this more often.
She ends up going to the hospital to see her dad, and during that time, conveniently enough, her dad is like, man, you know what I could use right now? Not, like, getting out of this hospital, but just some fucking grandchildren. All right, E.L. James. Like, I got it, really.
Cool.
And then the rest of this chapter is just, Anna and Christian being, like, passing ships in the night, because when she gets back to their home, Christian is, like, working late, and he doesn't really come home before she goes to bed. But when she wakes up in the morning, his, like, tie is in the room that she slept in, and she's like, oh my god, he was in here watching me sleep. That's, like, so cute, or whatever. It's really not.
No.
It's really not.
No.
And also, can he pick up his fucking clothes?
Yeah.
Christian, stop. You're like an adult. Eventually, she, like, wakes up in the morning. She isn't able to talk to him because he's left for Portland, which he doesn't speak to her about. He sends her an email about. And he's like, thought you want to know. Which, like, okay. Don't need you're being really petty, but that's fine. And Anna sees that, and she, like, freaks out. She gets, like, super upset and goes to puke. And she's like, I don't understand, like, why we're still fighting.
Yeah.
Eventually, she goes to work to go do work. And someone is, like, even in the meeting room. She's about to have an appointment, and she's about to have, like, another bagel and lox. And then all of a sudden, she gets a call from Mia, and she's like, oh my god, I can't deal with this right now. But she answers it anyways. And it's not Mia on the phone. It's Jack Hyde.
Cool.
And that's...
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome to Heist Time.
Heist time.
Yes. So chapter 22 starts. Now, please keep in mind, fellow listeners, Anna answered the phone, expecting it to be Mia. Then she heard Jack's voice. She has not heard Mia's voice. That is very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so chapter 22 starts. Anna has a lot of questions, understandably. Jack, it's been like 2 days since he left the publishing company, and he's like, oh, you remember me.
Yeah. Like, what?
I have no idea what's going on. And then all of a sudden, he, like, changes his tone from being soft, and he's like, listen here. and he, like, goes into all this, like, nasty language. And he's like, your family is gonna pay. And she's like, wait a second. What? Okay.
Hold on.
Hold on. Wait a second. And so, like, major tonal shift. He says that Anna's gonna get him $5 million today. And even though Anna says over and over again, you can't just do that. Like, that's not...
Yeah.
Jack, you've been watching TV too much. That's not how money works.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
Have you been to a bank, Jack?
Jake, have you... His name isn't even Jake. Fucking...
Jacob.
Jacob. Stop.
I need someone to yell at.
This is what happens. I get so frustrated. I'm like, just start screaming at Jacob.
Yeah.
Jack has no idea. He's been watching 24 too much. He just...
Yeah.
Anyways, so he's like...
And he also goes on this, like, rant about how, like, if things were a little different in his life, he'd be, like, a Christian.
Oh my
and
God.
he'd have all this money, and he'd be successful. And, like, where the fuck did any of this backstory come from? Why are we supposed to, like...
We know nothing about that.
What is happening? This is so silly. Like, who is this character and what are his motivations? Because I don't know anybody.
We know nothing about him.
No. Here's what we know. He assaulted Anna at her workplace for months.
Yep.
And now was able to crash a fucking helicopter and also now wants to steal and is capable of pulling off, like, stealing all of Christian's money. What? Who is this guy?
And apparently got out of jail.
Right. Like, what is happening? Nothing is ever explained. We are just forced to believe that these things are fine or normal character conceptions, and they're not.
Yeah, apparently he's like Flat Stanley and can just, like, whoop, out of jail. Like, he's just...
from the bars.
He's just like, actually, I've just never shown you how skinny I am when I turn to the side. These bars are nothing for me. They just never did his full lineup of pictures. They only ever took his, like, straight up one.
Yeah,
they never...
his side mugshot has just disappeared in air.
Oh. Jack, where'd you go?
Oh my God. Mr. Hyde.
Oh my God. Cody, think
What?
about it. Mr. Hyde. It all makes sense.
Get out of here.
Oh my God. Anyways. So yeah, he's like, as soon as Anna's like, Jack, I can't get that money. He's like, now you have 2 hours.
I've not finished my monologue, Anna.
Exactly.
Let me be a villain.
And he keeps saying, like, if you don't get this money, I'm gonna kill Mia. And the thing is, and finally, like, when the line goes dead, Anna's like, holy shit. Like, does he have Mia? He has Mia. Does he have Mia? But she has no idea because there's no proof.
No. And also he's like, if you tell Christian or you tell anyone, I'm gonna fuck Mia before I kill her. Like, it's this whole thing. And so she's, like, really scared to reach out to anyone. But also, still has no proof that Mia is in Jack Hyde's possession.
Right. She could just be in Barbados. She could be in Paris. Like, she could be in a movie.
She's been on, like, a cruise this whole time.
Yeah, she could be
in her life.
Yeah, she could be in a cruise. She could also be in an IMAX, for all we know. Like,
yeah.
We have no idea. Anyways.
Yeah.
She tells people, like, her assistant and stuff, she's like, I know someone is literally in the conference room with me, waiting for me right now. I can't.
But fuck them.
But fuck them. Fuck how much time they waited for me. We can't do this right now. I know that I've been canceling my appointments for about 2 months right now. Cancel them again.
I've had this job. I know I haven't taken a single meeting since being hired as the editor of this fucking thing.
I know that I've only sent back smiley faces to all my emails and canceled appointments and used up all of our budget to get coffee and lox, but I can't work today.
I'm busy.
And I just want Hannah to snap just fucking once. And it's like, do what? Do what?
It's like, after all I do for you.
Honestly. Why isn't she the Jack Hyde? You know what I mean? Like,
oh my, that would be amazing. That would be, and so much more believable, too.
We know more about her.
yes, we know more about her, and also she's been working for her forever and has only been treated like dog shit from Anna.
I know.
She, especially after last week where she like got yelled at for moving her doctor's appointments around.
I know.
She's like, you know what, bitch? I'm gonna take your husband's money.
I know. I'm gonna steal your baby like a witch. Like, I'm gonna take your fucking firstborn son and like steal all your money.
I would read that in a heartbeat.
I'm gonna Rumpelstiltskin this bitch. E.L. James just writes a fucking sex trilogy that ends up being Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin this dick.
Oh my god.
Anyways. So she ends up getting Sawyer and is like, Sawyer, take me home. And he's like, yes ma'am. Because that's how rich people work.
Yeah.
And the problem is that like during this whole drive, Anna's trying to figure out her Ocean's 8 plan. And she does it like, E.L. James does it exactly right. She like, every thought is a different sentence. She's figuring it out.
Yeah.
And here's where it starts to get very good. Because she gets back to the house. And she, very important, changes clothes.
Yep.
She changes into what is the most important heist outfit, jeans and a sweatshirt. And then again with the fucking gun thing, she realizes that in Christian's desk he hadn't secured his weapon. There was just like a fucking gun in Christian's desk.
Just a loose gun.
Just a loose gun. Just loose gun parts everywhere.
She fucking built it like a Lego.
Yes. So she just assembled it. And again, with Anna's like, you know nothing about guns.
She's a caveman. It is so funny that when we realized that she was like pro-gun or whatever, that was a shock, right? And she was all high and mighty about it and being like, oh, you should know how to defend yourself, all this stuff. And then the second she like gets the gun, she's like, oh shit, I've like only practiced on targets. I don't actually really know how to use this on a person.
I know, she's such a poser.
Right, it's like, well, be consistent at least.
I know. The thing too, so she starts to get her Ocean's 8 going on. It's mainly just Sawyer in a Scala right now. So she does this thing that's very clever. She fucking calls Sawyer and is like, hey, I'm in the room upstairs. Can you help me with the hand with something? And then she waits for fucking Sawyer to go up the stairs and goes into the elevator and pushes the button.
A fucking criminal mastermind.
I know.
This is what I wanted.
This
is
so good.
All I want. I want a full series of Anna just pulling this shit.
Yep.
To commit crimes or, like, to save people. Like, a vigilante hero. Like, this is what I want.
And what makes me so sad, too, is, like, Sawyer's done nothing wrong. Like, he's just trying to do his job. And as soon as he hears the bell, he's like, oh, fuck. And so he starts running back. He's like, Miss Gray, Anna, please stop. He's just, like, sinking in front of the elevator. Like, no, my job.
Right. And it's like, sorry, he's probably got fired. Whoops.
Yep, exactly. And so she goes into the bank. And here's the part that fucks me up.
Yeah.
She goes into this fucking bank in jeans and a hoodie. And don't get me wrong. Like, if I could wear those every day, I would. But keep in mind, this is a Christian Grey bank.
Yeah.
It's not a you and me bank. You know what I mean?
It's not the people's bank.
It's not the plebes bank. You know what I mean?
That's mere commonwealth.
Exactly. This bank is not a bank. It's like a bank. And
it's a bank in italics. Like
exactly. And so she goes in and she's like, hi, I would like to take all your money. And the lady, like, doesn't think that she's doing a robbery. She's like, oh, you have an account here? And so eventually she's like, oh, yeah, like, I want to say to your manager, I'm going to withdraw $5 million today.
No biggie.
And so
I'm sure you can process that, right?
Exactly. So eventually she gets to speak to a manager and is, like, seated or whatever. And it's like, so we usually ask for, like, heads up for this. Because that's so much money. But you came to the right place, man, because we actually hold the cash reserve for the entire Pacific Northwest here. And
it's such a flex.
And Anna fucking turns to the audience and is like, please note, audience, I have an account here. Like, you don't need to sell me on this. I'm already here.
Right.
And so then the guy is like, so super easy, Mrs. Gray. This will be so fast. Don't worry about it. Can I just see your ID? And then Anna hands it over. And it doesn't even have her updated last name on it. It still says Anastasia Steele. And he's like, oh, yes, sure. You're a poser, actually. And just, like, quietly hits the red button underneath his desk. The problem is that this bank, that's not, like, a crime button. It's just a poor button. And so, like, slowly underneath her desk, like, the trap starts to open. And so she's like, oh, no, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me find something that actually has, like, my real name on it. Here's my Amex card.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so she just, like, pulls that out. And he's like, oh, yeah, this has been so wild. I'm so sorry. And what I love about this is that it finally ends up working out. And she just, like, fucking pulls out a checkbook. And she doesn't know how many zeros there are to write $5 million, which I love.
Never change.
And never change. I love it so much. And then fucking Mr. Whelan is like, so super easy. Love it. I'm glad that you figured out how many zeros are on here. Just one more thing. I ended up calling your husband just to make sure that things were super kosher. He's on line 1. Just press the button. I'll be outside. Bye.
Bye. Later. Have this really cool phone conversation you're about to have.
Right.
I'll be outside. Counting, just rolling in money.
Exactly. And now, keep in mind, right, like, this is total manipulation, and it's Christian, right, so I don't actually feel sympathy for him.
No.
And it's Anna totally, like, acting and stuff, but Anna gets on the phone, and Christian's first words are, You're leaving me? You're leaving me? You say bye-bye?
Oh my god.
And Anna's like, yes.
Uh-huh. That is what I'm doing.
Yes, Christian. Yes, Christian. And he's like, Anna, no, Anna, stay.
I love you.
And so he ends up doing the, like, was it always the cash?
Which, like, gross.
Gross
Are you
thing.
serious? This whole relationship was founded on the fact that she wanted nothing to do with your money.
Do you remember this whole argument that you guys just had, like, that you're still having?
Yeah.
And he's like, and the fetus? He actually says
the greatest reenactment of all time.
Yeah, he actually says baby, but it would be so much fucking funnier if he said fetus.
And the embryo.
And also, please know, like, I don't remember if we said this last week, but fucking Anna throughout this whole time is calling this actual fetus her little blip.
It's so bad.
And all I can think about is blimp.
Oh my
And
God.
it's just a lot. And so during this time, Christian's, like, pissed. He's like, well, just take it all then. Just fucking take all my money. At this point, which is just, like, a power move for sure.
Right.
What if she just fucking called his bluff and was like, you know what, actually, fucking, yeah, clear it out. Clear it out, Mr. Whelan. Take it all.
Keep it coming. Just keep the bills coming.
So yeah.
I want you to fucking stop till that reserve is dried the fuck out.
I'm gonna take your fucking building, Mr. Whelan. I own you now. Give me your watch. Yeah, so finally the fucking asshole Whelan comes in. He's like, oh yeah, so your husband said $5 million, and you wanted that in cash, right? Great. Cash it is. Just give us a few seconds. It just takes a few minutes to get $5 million in cash, but we'll totally get it. Here's some water.
It'll be here in a bit.
Here's some water. And then all of a sudden, while the money is getting ready, she's getting ready to go. She gets ready to go out the door, and then she realizes that Sawyer is out in the entrance. And I love this because their eyes meet, and he, like, fucking frowns at Anna. And I love this because her response is she just fucking holds up her index finger like, I see you. I know you're pissed. I'm gonna deal with you in just a minute. Just a minute.
Just give me a quick sex.
Just 1 second. And so she turns around and she's like, actually, Mr. Whelan, there's someone here that I don't like. I don't like them. And so Mr. Whelan's response is like, do you want me to call the police? Because he's a white man. And she's like, no, God, no. Yeah. And so they end up, she ends up getting a call from Jack, and the plan is to go out the back with a Dodge of someone that is driving it. The person that ends up driving it, of course, is none other than Elizabeth from The Office.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because sure.
Why? Yeah, it could have just been a random henchman or whatever.
Yeah, it could have been a random woman, but now we have to be suddenly betrayed by Elizabeth from The Office that we don't know.
No.
And don't care about.
Nope.
Now, during this whole time, Anna's trying to talk to Elizabeth, being like, you can tell me if he's doing something to you. Like, we can talk about it. We can make it work. And Elizabeth's like, shut up. Also, please put on your seatbelt, but shut up.
Yeah.
They finally end up going to this, like, random place in the middle of nowhere. They get all the cash out. She sees Jack, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's like, first things first, like, here's the money. And then all of a sudden, he, like, looks at Anna and just fucking slaps the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Just, like, backhands her, and she falls on the ground. It's like, cool, great. Good.
With child, mind you.
Yeah, I don't know that he knows that, but, like, still.
No, but just, like, for the impact, right?
Right.
Like, she's on the floor. Just, like,
and Elizabeth...
not doing so hot.
Yeah, Elizabeth is like, hey, I've been with you the whole time, but whoa. Pump the brakes, dude.
This is where I draw the moral line.
Exactly. Now, Anna does take this moment of while they're kind of arguing at each other to just nail him with a bullet, just like right above the knee.
It is so evident we don't know how to talk about guns and are so like anti like violence and guns, and we're just like, she just pushes him.
She just poked him a little bit, you know,
with a bullet, just like a spitball.
I don't know. How do you gun? I don't know. Anyways. Then, you know, Anna's, like, concussed, so the rest of the chapter is just basically darkness. And then we get a lot of ellipses of things like cars screeching, brakes, doors, shouting, running.
I love slam poetry.
Footsteps. And then all of a sudden, Christian's voice yelling for her. And then... very, very Stephanie Meyer-esque of darkness and peace. And that's where the chapter ends.
Right.
God bless.
What a fucking stellar piece of fiction.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
God damn is all I have to say. You know?
Yeah. It'd be like that.
So I thought that next week was our last bit, but I was wrong. And next week is our penultimate of this trilogy, and it is chapters 23 and 24.
Whew.
So, oh boy, is all I have to say.
How are we gonna wrap all this shit up?
I honest to God.
We don't have enough time to figure this all out.
I honest to God have no fucking idea.
We spent so much time fucking meandering in the middle of this book for no goddamn reason. And all this shit happens at the end. And now we gotta wrap all this up?
I have no idea.
It can't be done.
Yeah, I'm so confused. We have some patrons to
Hell yeah.
appreciate today. And we also have a new glow up from the Patreon corner.
Ooh.
And that is our friend Audrey.
Yeah.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the show.
Yes. Who, Cody, needs a name. Needs a last name.
Yeah.
And
She does need a last name.
she does. And there are so many names in this world.
Yeah.
But you know what we don't have?
What don't we have?
We don't have a colon on this list.
Ooh. Ooh.
We don't have a colon on this list, and you know what sounds pretty good is Audrey Cullen.
Audrey Cullen has a good ring to it.
It has a good mouth sound.
Yeah. Yes. Top 5 mouth sounds.
So I have Reductress pulled up right now.
Okay, hold on. Give me a moment.
And I would love to thank our upgrading patron, Audrey Cullen, which sounds,
Yeah.
it just sounds so, mwah. And Audrey, today you're going to be the Reductress article. Sad, the Leaky Cauldron is a Starbucks now.
Oh my gosh. So, the good work at Reductress.
It's so important.
Shout out to Taylor Brown Town Lautner, who's gonna be How to Tell Your Sick Uncle You're Actually Saving Your Kidney for Sandra Oh.
Me.
Truly.
What I wouldn't give, you know?
Yeah.
There's nothing I wouldn't give. I would love to thank today Katie Weber. And here's the thing, Cody. I don't know that I've gotten the pleasure, the honor to ever do Katie Weber.
Welcome.
So, Katie, hi, hello. How are you? And Katie, today I think you're gonna have to be how to comfort your partner, even though crying, it's kind of your thing.
Amazing.
This fucking photo, Cody. That dude is disassociating so bad.
That's me reading this book.
True.
Shout out to Simon Steele. Our fucking hero, our savior.
Damn.
Simon Steele. The light of our lives, Simon Steele.
Damn.
Who's gonna be power move. When this woman saw the ATM surcharge, she canceled the transaction.
Holy shit. Holy shit. I have a very important thing for you today. And I don't know, I know it's technically called a fan fiction.
Sure.
But it's more art
Oh my
than
god.
that. This was sent, of course, by Taylor Brown Town Lautner. And it is called This Is Happening. And it's the first chapter from that. And I wasn't sure what it was. But what I did today is I actually pasted in what the tags were for you today to look at. Just because I found them so personally fascinating.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot here.
There's so much. Mainly the werewolves, which is not in plural. It's just werewolf with just an S added to it.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's a mood for sure. And so what I am presenting to you today vis-a-vis Taylor is a blend of The Purge and the Twilight Saga.
Well,
Yep.
that's a choice.
So I'm going to read from chapter 1 right after the annual Purge broadcast has been presented across the place. Great. I hurried, turning my car back on, and started driving back home. As I was driving, I saw that boy. That freakishly gorgeous boy with the yellow iris eyes. He was being attacked. I don't know what got me, but I completely flipped. I pressed hard on the brakes, jumping out of the car. "Stop! What are you doing to him? Leave him alone!" I screamed, looking at the redhead and blonde who were attacking him. "Bella, go home. I'll be fine," Edward said calmly. "Who is this, Edward?" "Victoria," the redhead asked. "Victoria, this is Bella. Leave her alone," Edward responded. "Please, leave him be. Go find another victim to sacrifice," I plead. Victoria rolled her eyes and threw him to the ground. She quickly came over to me, whispering in my ear. "See you around, Bella," Victoria laughed, disappearing with that guy she had with her. I looked over at Edward, watching him get up. He looked over at me, but I couldn't figure out if he was mad or relieved with me getting involved. "You should get home," Edward said. "I know. Come with me?" "Please," I asked. Edward nodded, wrapping his arm around me and going over to the car. I got into the passenger seat. It was always better when he drives anyway. End scene.
Great.
That! What? I have so many questions and none of them are being answered.
No.
I don't know that I actually want them to be answered, though.
Yeah, I think it's for the best.
Oh, well, as we say here in Seattle.
Get bit.
And get whipped.
Ooh!
This is an Earbud Media production. You can find us on Twitter at Earbud Media and listen to the rest of our shows. You can find this show on Twitter at Into the Twilight, as well as intothetwilight.show. You can send us an email at intothetwilightshow@gmail.com. You can also become a sponsor of the show or buy some merch at intothetwilight.bigcartel.com. Our art is done by Maddie Padilla, who you can find at YourGhostHost44 on Instagram, and our music is done by Eli Krause. You can find at Eli Sauerkraus and KrausFilms.com. The intro and outro is by KB Smith. You can find at KB__Smith on Twitter. You can find Allie on Twitter at Into Wild Places, and you can find me at Dyke Discourse. You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.